directed by Zhang Yimou. It was 2002 Chinese wuxia. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah, but it's
Wuxia
Zhang
film.
Yimou. Sorry.
Zhang Yimou. Okay, thank you. Um,
I
okay.
had to say that so people knew. Okay.
And it's Huawei.
Okay, so this movie is starring Jet Li, Tony Leung, Maggie Cheung, Chen Daoming, Zhang Ziyi, and Donnie Chen, and is based on a real life assassination attempt on the king of the Qin kingdom, which was then the Qin dynasty, back in 227 BC. So let's first go to Jennifer. What did you think about this movie? What resonated and why did it resonate with you?
Well, I will say, uh, this movie really made me regret cutting off all my own hair. Okay. The hair game is freaking fly in this movie. I'm talking girls with long locks, men with long locks, wearing silk garments of all shapes and colors. Like it just made me realize that like I need a new look. Because that looked good on everybody. Like everyone was just this ethereal. Is that a word?
Yeah,
Ethereal?
yeah, that's a word.
Ethereal, mystical, beautiful, like warrior, kung fu, princess, dancer, martial artist through the sky. It was just a beautiful movie. And
All Philly Angels.
yes, we're like the Chinese Philly Angels. Like they could sell freaking cottage cheese and blue cheese, no problem, as well as stinky tofu. Like that's how good everyone in this movie looked. So Emperor Qin Shi Huang is revered in China. If you ever go to China and you visit the province of Xi'an, they have that's where the home of the terracotta warriors, like over 1,000 life-size terracotta warriors, all like part of his army. Like it's like his dedicated shrine. And I had no idea, Leonard, that this was the true case until we saw it and you brought up that fact. So that was like a mind-blowing moment that brought me back to a bit of my China days. But I will say the movie with nationalism, you do see the battle between like the individual fight for avenging like a wrongdoing. Like
the wrongdoing being a genocide of an entire people. Go on.
correct.
Collateral damage. Collateral damage.
That's a reason. But then you have this emperor that's like, the fighting will never end if we don't all unite and fight against coronavirus. Wear a mask. Bom, bom, bom. And there you have it. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean, Leonard? Do you know what I mean by that?
I do not know.
This is dude, this is full circle on our discussion about American individualism versus uniting for the greater good. And the greater good in this movie was the emperor saying, my dream is to unite these small factions and kingdoms and to have a standard for everyone. So there's only one way to write the word sword so that there can be an end to all the battling and the rebels and the fighting versus like, yeah, it's going to take a few genocides, but we'll get there.
Greater good.
So yeah, greater good versus is your petty little revenge. Like, yes, your family died. That sucks. But if you keep killing, it will never end and more families will die. So choose.
Yeah. I mean, it's straight up exactly what's happening now in China. Like their philosophies have not changed in 2,000 years. They're very consistent. I think that's kind of nice because that's 100% what they're doing with the Uyghurs, right? Like, it's like, they're in the way of the Belt and Road Initiative. Everybody needs to be richer. Let's, it's for the greater good. If you want to make an omelet, you got to break some eggs. Sometimes those eggs are ethnic minorities, but whatever. You got to break.
Oh my God. That I'm just saying that was the movie.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of people thought this king was a hero, right? And that's the whole point. That's the whole point of the name of the movie is hero. There's heroes on both sides. And so everybody's like, this king is a hero because he, so one of the big philosophical engine behind this movie is the concept of Tianxia, which is like all under heaven, like everything under the sky. And it has a lot of different meanings. All right. So it can be like geography. It can be like the political regime or the nation. It can be a cultural identity, or it can just be like a determinant for the validity of a regime based on the will of the people. And I think that's really where that last definition of Tian Xia is like what makes that king a hero. Is because like, well, his people want this, right? And so then they make him a hero, and because he's uniting China. And a lot of people say it's because of this king that China is where it is at now. Because otherwise you would still have a bunch of like warring provinces with different languages. Like for those of you who don't know, this is weirdly not common knowledge. There's only one written language in China. There's like 1 billion different dialects. I don't know how many, hundreds.
Yeah.
But there's one written language. So you can go anywhere in China and then you can write, a sentence, and everybody, well, I mean, for the most part, not the Uyghurs, but they're being educated right now. How to read and write Mandarin, but like most people will know. And then that's what allows them to do business. There's like one common language of commerce. And that's why China can now act as this massive behemoth of a country and utilize, like, their biggest strength is the size of their population, right? And because they can all communicate, that's how they're able to become what they become. If it wasn't for this king, who knows?
No, even Korean language is derived from like Mandarin.
Yeah.
The
kanji.
Yeah, that reminds me, I should probably get back on my Mandarin lessons. I took it when I was young, and again, probably 2 other times in my life, and I always failed. But the good thing is, because I started when I was really young, and at least I can verbalize the sounds, which I think is the hardest part for Westerners. So I can physically make the sounds, which is hard for Westerners to learn. So for me, it's just about learning, because as we all know, China is going to be the world superpower with the U.S. falling. And Mandarin is going to be important. Yeah. Shout out to Karen, who is watching us from Facebook, and she has messaged in the past with lots of great comments on the show. So I think she is a regular viewer. So thank you, Karen. So my views on this movie were, just like Jennifer said, the visuals were gorgeous. I especially liked the camera work around like flowing fabrics, like curtains, dresses, the wind, all that kind of stuff is really great. I did say that, like, I don't buy Jet Li's character changing his mind when he had his chance. I don't feel like it was earned as a character arc. Like, I felt like I don't know what I needed in that moment. And maybe if I understood, like, Chinese calligraphy a bit more, maybe the moment would have struck me a bit harder. But I didn't. I just felt like, oh shit. I don't know. I get that the whole movie was setting up for that character turn, and it didn't really work for me. But the good thing for me was, the actual heart of the movie, which was very believable, was the relationship between Flying Snow and Broken Sword. And I actually do feel like it was the philosophical heart of the movie. It was, they both love each other, but they have this philosophical difference. And that's the arc I was most invested in. And luckily, that's the one that actually resonated. Because honestly, the Jet Li arc with the Emperor, I didn't quite feel it. Like the reveal of, I don't know. I didn't really feel that part. But like I said, luckily, Flying Snow and Broken Sword really carried the movie. And shout out to my favorite Chinese actress of all time, Zhang Ziyi, who just really plays a great, like, impetuous, teenage. I don't know. She's just the frustration and angst of a young woman. She just plays it really well. And it's great seeing her now back in North American cinema with the latest Godzilla movie. And she has aged gracefully and beautifully. And I've always loved her. So it's great to see her back.
No, my favorite part of the movie is at the end of the movie so I had people over to watch this movie at my place in my yard. And my favorite part is at the end of the movie when we're just sitting around chatting, and then my neighbors called the cops on us. That was the part that really...
The Max.
Yeah, my favorite was when Sebastian, who was a regular on this podcast, he was just like, I went, talked to the cops, came back. I was like, hey guys, the cops just came, told us to keep it down, blah, blah, blah. Sebastian was like, how nice is this neighborhood?